Hello, everyone, and welcome to Disney WTF, where we talk about what's the fuss about Disney. This is episode 39, and for those that don't know us by now, we are a Disney couple. One of us is a Disney fanatic, and one of us is not, but somehow we've made a way to make this relationship work.
Yeah. I don't like how you were pointing at me with the non-Disney point. Quite rude.
Well, it's 'cause I'm not holding a cigarette, like
Walt was.
Like the myth shows or says, or whatever that saying is.
It is. I don't know if it's a myth or if it's fact.
Whatever.
Anyways.
Yes.
How's it going?
I'm hanging in there, doing well.
Yeah.
It's a nice Friday night that we are hanging out together.
It's a crisp evening.
It is. It's nice and windy outside.
Mm-hmm. In South Florida.
It's a nice windy evening.
I'm preparing for an epic adventure alone tomorrow.
Yeah. She's going to Disney without me.
Am I going without you, or are you not joining me?
You're going without me.
Is that what it is? I don't know. Yeah. Well, the whole reason why I'm going alone, though, is because, I'm not technically going alone. I'm just traveling alone. I am going to meet up with my brother and sister-in-law at the park, at Epcot, because I want to see Festival of the Arts before it's over.
Yeah.
This might be the only opportunity I get.
I'll see it on pictures, which I'm super excited about.
I'm going to take a ton of pictures.
Yes.
I'm going to make you feel like you're there.
Exactly.
They're not going to be overly weird. They're just going to be expansive portraits.
Yes.
Anyways.
Headlines.
All right. So my first headline is about Golden Oak in Club 33. First of all, I know you know what Club 33 is.
Yes.
You might not know what Golden Oak
I
is.
have no idea what that is.
Golden Oak is a planned community that's on Disney property, which I think we've driven by it before.
A plant?
Planned community.
Oh, planned community.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, planned community. It's a very wealthy neighborhood. They're very nice houses.
Yeah.
And
It's by the Wilderness Lodge, right?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I remember
exactly
that.
where it is.
Okay.
So now that Club 33 is coming to the East Coast, there's going to be a Club 33 in every park. Still, nobody knows exactly where they are because they're all a secret. Of course, it's a secret. But Golden Oak residents are going to get first dibs on applications to get into Club 33.
Nice.
And just as a refresher, here are the prices that you would encounter when you were applying for Club 33. There's a $25,000 application or initiation fee, $15,000 annual dues.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's hefty.
for any Golden Oak residents out there, if you are listening, I'm excited for you. I would gladly join you on any trip to eat at Club 33 if you're going.
When you guys are listening, we need you guys to sponsor this podcast. You don't even need to get us to this trip. Just help us with our coffee bills.
Sponsor.
Yeah.
We're fine. We're okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next headline. The minivan service has expanded beyond Disney property. So before it was just kind of doing, if you're staying at this resort, but I want to go to Disney Springs, it takes you from place to place via the minivan service sponsored by Lyft. And now it'll take you to Orlando International Airport.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Specifically, if it will take you between the hours of 9 a.m. and 12 a.m. to Orlando International Airport.
I wonder if it'll ever expand to like Orlando. Like you just see minivans all over the place.
Wouldn't that would be so fun?
I think that would be an interesting way to like spread the brand out of like you're in Orlando because this is like the home of Disney.
Exactly. And this is our transportation service.
Yeah.
But if Lyft is already in Orlando, do you think that they're gonna need to expand that far, their fleet?
Well, sometimes it could be cheaper.
Like
if it's still the same thing, or maybe Disney lowers their prices and then it's a better option.
Yeah. Disney lowering prices.
It might be.
I don't know. I feel like Disney's never considered the greatest value in terms of like for instance, food. You pay X amount of dollars for a hot dog, whereas you would be cheaper off of property or a hotel room, for instance, but you pay because it's Disney or it's close to Disney or more convenient for Disney.
Yeah, but I know, but I see that, but I think that if they were to do this, they would have to. The only way it would work is if they would compete on prices, which would be worth it to them because they would just be spreading the brand like even more. Like people would have no choice but to think they're in Disney, because they were just seeing the minivans like driving around everywhere.
You know, I do wonder how most locals feel about living so close to Disney. Those who are not Disney fanatics, for instance, because one time I went to the gym before I went to the parks, and they were like super friendly, like, "Oh, what are you doing in Orlando?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to Disney World." And most of the patrons were like, "Oh, that sounds awful. Like it just like it doesn't sound great."
Yeah. Well, I think that goes for like everyone though, whether they live there or not. I think because even people from here, like same thing, whether they're either they're fanatic and they're super excited, or they're not, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to go to Disney."
Yeah.
Like, so
like, I don't want to go to South Beach.
Yeah, exactly.
Like how we would do, maybe. But anyways, so that's a service that's expanding. I mean, it's going to be fun to see. It will be fun to see minivans everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I love them. Rock the dots. Hashtag rock the dots. That's what they're saying now.
For the vans?
For Minnie in general.
Oh, okay.
Because she just got her star on the Walk of Fame.
Okay.
So that's like the hashtag that everybody's using.
That's cool.
Hashtag rock the dots. Rock the dots. But anyways, so those are all my headlines.
Who came up with that hashtag? I don't know if that's the best one that they could have come
Rock
up with.
the dots. Probably somebody who's paid very well.
I don't know. They could have come up with something better, I think, in my opinion.
Well, what would you have come up with?
I don't
On
know.
the spot.
On the spot?
Yeah, go ahead. Just anything. Hashtag Minnie Mouse.
No. Hashtag.
It's a style movement about Minnie and her style, and she wears polka dots.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean,
like
if anything,
it. I think it's catchy.
Rock dots would be better even.
Rock the dots.
Like rock the dots is like I would probably
like
say,
it.
all right, take out the and you've got something.
Rock
like
dots?
rock dots.
That doesn't even make any sense.
No, because it could be like a superstar thing. Like, yeah, we're rock dots.
You see, that sentence made no sense.
I'm just
Whereas I'd be
like
saying,
rock
like,
and roll dots, you
like
know?
if I see Minnie Mouse or like somebody who's wearing polka dots walking down the street, I'd be like, yeah, rock the dots. I'm not going to be like, yeah, rock dots. That sounds like a candy. It does.
You rock dots.
Still, continuing to make less sense.
Yes.
Let's move on.
Okay. I'll come up with some better ones later
Okay.
throughout the episode.
Are you though?
Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see. All right. Well, here's our topic for today. And this is something that we've done in the past on an earlier episode. And we're going to review TripAdvisor reviews about a park. And today's park is going to be Animal Kingdom. And the reason why I think this is pretty interesting is you get a lot of opinions, like overarching opinions about Disney from people who are both, you know, they're Disney pass holders, let's say, or they're just visiting on a family trip. So it's fun to get like that overarching, well, how is Disney doing according to TripAdvisor subscribers?
Yeah.
So let's review our last one that we did. We did Magic Kingdom. And Magic Kingdom was one of the most reviewed places on planet Earth. And overall, it does pretty well. And the same goes for Animal Kingdom. It does do pretty well. Okay? And I was surprised to see that a lot of what Magic Kingdom, the positives and the negatives, are actually pretty different from Animal Kingdom for the most part. All right? So, let's get started.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, overall stats. On a scale of 1 to 5, where would you rank Animal Kingdom if you were doing a review? And you can be
Review
honest.
on the stars. I don't know, maybe like a 4.5 or 4.
Okay. All right. Well, you're not far off from other people
Average.
who, yeah, the average. So the average is 4.6.
Nice.
And that's based on 26,000 plus reviews. And something interesting that I noticed about the reviews, other than English, which has like for the 18,000 reviews, so most of the reviews, the second most prominent language that the reviews were in was Portuguese.
Really? And they're there, like in Portuguese?
Yeah, they're there.
wow.
Well, you can filter them out, but
Yeah.
they're on there accounted for.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense because you do see a lot of Brazilian tour groups, let's say, who go to the parks.
I didn't know that. How did you tell that they were Portuguese? You looked at the language, or is there like a way to like, is there stats that say that?
There's
Or-
stats that say
oh,
that.
okay.
So right on the landing page for Animal Kingdom, it says how many stars it has. Here are a number of reviews, and here are the languages you can filter by.
Yeah.
So after Portuguese was Spanish.
Yeah,
But
that makes
anyways,
sense.
yeah. And it's rated as the number 9 thing to do in Orlando. And number 9, I don't know. I would say it's in my top 4 out of the 4 4 Disney parks.
But it's okay. Like it's all of Orlando, right? Like
yeah.
Okay.
It is all of Orlando.
Are all the parks within the top 10?
That I don't know. I'm not sure, especially because I think that Epcot, and now I know that Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom are in the top 10. I don't know about Hollywood Studios, especially given its recent, downfall.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. And...
Magical dots.
Hashtag magical dots. You're
Dot magic.
Oh my gosh. You're going the wrong direction. You ponder that for a while. Anyways.
Dot swag.
Okay, well, I like the word swag. But anyways, so a lot of the reviews were about Pandora, which makes sense because I didn't go too far back because I wanted to get an overarching feel for how people are feeling about the park as it is currently. Because I feel like if we go too far back, then maybe it'll be like, oh, it's a half-day park. Well, at least it's not as crowded as the other parks. Whatever.
Okay.
So a lot of the reviews were about Pandora. And do you want to start with the positive or the negative?
The positive.
Really? Well, I wanted to start with the negative.
So then start with the negative.
Okay, let's start with the negative.
I wish you asked.
So the negative reviews in general were a little bit more detailed and long because, when people, they want to complain, so they write these long essays about what's wrong with the park. Yeah. The funniest thing that kind of caught me off guard, just to start off with, was that, and this wasn't a negative review, was that the park is full of trees and false noise or fake noise.
False noise?
Or fake noise.
Or fake noise,
yeah.
Okay. Because of like the sound, like the animal sounds that they like have on the speakers and stuff?
Yeah.
They didn't like that? It's interesting.
I know.
Yeah.
And unless you consider the music that they use in the park fake noise as well, that was just caught me off guard.
Yeah.
I didn't think that trees were a bad thing.
Because they didn't like the fake trees?
They didn't say fake trees. They just said that there are a lot of trees and fake noise.
Oh, well, the tree thing makes sense. That's kind of dumb. But,
yeah.
Yeah, I guess depending on the sound, maybe they were by a speaker for too long, somewhere. Maybe they hung out somewhere this sucks, because it's just just move from the speaker, lady.
Yeah, I know, move from the speaker. Why do you think it's a lady?
I don't know.
That's interesting. Another topic.
Was it a lady? Can't you tell?
It was a lady.
Ah, there you go.
Just saying. So another thing that people did complain about was the safari. Oh, and this killed me, reading it. They were complaining that there were very few animals, that they had a better safari experience at their local town, and that they didn't like the driver who drove it, and that they could drive themselves through their local town safari, and that the animals didn't get close.
What local town safari is this?
Well, even
Africa?
So, yeah.
Well, yeah, if you came from Africa, it's gonna suck. We get it.
Yeah.
But we don't have that in Miami. It's awesome.
Well, I love the safari. So, how do you feel about that particular one?
Because it sucks because you can have I wish for you to be able to review something on here, you should be have to do the safari 3 times. Because you can go at a certain time and it's going to be terrible. But you could go at another time and it could be the best time ever.
Yeah.
So that's kind of rough. It depends so much on the animals. You can't control them. Disney's not making them do anything. So that's tough.
Disney does their part to try to make sure that every safari experience from beginning to the end of the day is going to be good as best as possible without manipulating the animals, because they do barriers, they put out food, so they do their part to try to make every experience on the safari a good one. But yeah, they were complaining about that. And more on the animals, people would also complain not just on the safari, but that on the jungle treks or the trails that are throughout the park, that they had a hard time seeing the animals, or that all they saw was like ducks and birds and things like that instead of lions, tigers, and bears, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's funny though, because a lot of the complaints in the negative reviews were countered by positives that were in the positive reviews.
Gotcha.
So it kind of just depends on who you are, what day you go on, which is why I like your suggestion that to write a review, you have to have ridden this ride at least 3 times.
Yeah.
You have to have been in this park at least 3 times.
Yeah, it's equivalent to like Tesla. Tesla, they're like, they're doing the whole autonomous driving thing, but a piece of road is not mapped fully in like the autonomous driving system unless a Tesla drives by that same road at least 1,000 times. So we can apply that similar knowledge here to say that like
you have to have gone 1,000 times.
Well, not 1,000, but 3. It'll be equivalent. 3 times. Like you as an individual, 3 times. Yeah. Now you can review.
Oh, okay. I like it. How do you get those credentials though? Like, how do you even like know?
Your magic band, or like however normal. I mean, we could talk about cryptocurrency and how this would work here, but we're not going to go there.
We already did an episode on that, Rickard. We're done.
So
we are done with that one.
It's the same way they map. They record people that they've been inside the park. All right, this is your 3rd time. Here's your pass to review. This is your code, so you can now go review.
Oh my gosh, it's so crazy that you're mentioning this, because another one of the negative reviews, and this one is also one that kind of stuck out to me. They don't like that Disney fingerprints you. Everybody, adult to toddler, they do not like that they fingerprint you.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's when you say you could see that, what are your initial thoughts about that?
Because like I can see how they basically force you to put your fingerprint on there, which like means that they're capturing they have your fingerprints basically. And the only other people that usually have your fingerprints are law enforcement.
The government,
Yeah, so I can see how that's like, I never even thought about like that being a problem. I just thought like, yeah, here, take my fingerprint.
I mean, we don't know exactly like what other Disney uses it for, but other than like ticket recognition. So like, this is my ticket versus yours, and this is my fingerprint to prove it, which makes sense because they want to remain as profitable as possible.
Yeah.
So they don't want you and I to share an annual pass.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, and they're really probably not doing anything with it. It's just, I think also the concern is maybe like, what if they get hacked, or like there's a bunch of other concerns that could be, even if they're not doing anything with it, it's just that like that information about your finger, which is out there.
So on the FBI like top 10 most wanted list, instead of having like the offender's fingerprints, it's going to have like like a toddler's fingerprints instead.
Basically, they fingerprint the toddlers too?
I don't think so. This particular reviewer said that they did, although I've only seen.
The kid was 5, probably.
Yeah, maybe like 4-year-olds or 5-year-olds. Like
Charlie was 7.
17. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's another one that stuck out to me. Another thing that came up commonly in the negative reviews were about fast passes. Negative reviews of fast passes. And this goes along with Pandora, because a lot of people complained that they couldn't get a fast pass to Flight of Passage, which is notorious for its 3-hour, 5-hour waits. Yeah. And that even though they were staying on property, let's say, which if you're staying on property, you can reserve fast passes 60 days out. Whereas if you're not staying on property, you can reserve fast passes 30 days out.
Nice.
They were complaining that even 60 days out, all of the fast passes were gone.
That's hard.
And they were saying that.
So wait, how?
That, I mean, 7 a.m. when that fast pass, they open up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Reserve.
That sucks.
So they were complaining that it was all gone and that the system didn't seem efficient for that reason. But it's hard because like with the popularity of a particular ride, of course you can't guarantee that you're going to have fast passes for everyone, because otherwise the fast pass system wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to be on the positive side, but
well,
yeah. And to go along with that the wait times were really, really long if you didn't have a fast pass. That was a complaint.
Okay. What's wrong?
I'm just saying that's a complaint.
Oh.
So, but at the end of the day, I feel like maybe people weren't expecting to have to plan that far out if you haven't been to Disney before, or if you haven't been there a long time, especially Animal Kingdom, which up until the last few years, I would say was not as crowded as it is now. Yeah. It didn't have the popularity that it does.
I wonder if it's a big enough deal where Disney should like mention that in there. So look, I know you really want to come for the most important thing here to most people. So here's some tips.
Yeah. Although like people were very upset that they had to like micromanage their time like that.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't want to have to micromanage, and then I'm thinking in the back of my head, like, well, I mean, I guess you can't really complain because like you have to do that in order to ride Flight of Passage, for instance.
Do you know that what it's like when you first register? Like, do they tell you, oh, now that you registered, get your fast passes? Do they do that? I think
they do go over the fast pass system. Like, or they give you periodic reminders and emails that say, oh, here's how to, here's the next step for your trip. Okay. Have you planned your fast passes yet? Have you heard of PhotoPass, which is like a photography package that you can get? So, I mean, I think Disney does do a pretty good job, at least in my experience, about keeping you like on track to do things.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Yeah. And another thing that people were complaining about was that the Disney magic is gone. They were saying that
from this particular park?
Yes. These were all things in Animal Kingdom reviews.
Yeah. So
that the Disney magic is gone because of the fingerprinting, for instance, because things are expensive. They're saying that they only want to make a buck.
Yeah, but that's not unique. That's not unique to Magic Kingdom? I mean, to Animal Kingdom, though.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
It's not unique to Animal Kingdom, but it's definitely like something that came up a lot.
Yeah, I mean, tough luck. I don't know. That to me doesn't like. It seems like it's affecting you, but to me, it just like. I don't know.
It doesn't affect you at all.
Life. No, because like that's just how the world works. Everything is inflating. All the prices for everything are going up. What do you think is going to be the same prices in 1950?
Yeah, $3.50.
Yeah, it's not gonna work like that.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely something that was common in the Magic Kingdom reviews too. Is that things are overpriced for the value you get. Although, I think that I get a lot of value out of Animal Kingdom.
Yeah. Because
of a wide variety of experiences. So, I'm just gonna conclude on that note about the negative experiences. Do you have any negative things that you would put in a TripAdvisor review about Animal Kingdom?
The only thing I would want to see more of is like, I feel like there should be more opportunities to learn. Like, cause when I go there, I want to know a bunch of stuff, and I don't think I have a lot of those opportunities.
So you find that even with the cast members, like at the exhibits, for instance, or at the conservation station, that you still don't have those opportunities?
I need more.
Okay.
I need more of that.
You need more cast members to teach you?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
All right. Well,
like I want to be walking and all of a sudden someone just jump out of a bush and say, "Hey, do you want a random fact?" And then I'll be like, "Yes."
About this bush.
Yeah, exactly. That's the kind of things that I want.
Okay. Wow, that's an interesting comment, an interesting critique on the park.
Because yeah, exactly.
I like it. Mine would be, I can't think of anything right now.
Okay.
Even though I've been doing nothing but reading negative reviews for the last 2 hours, but that's besides the point. So let's move on to the positives.
Okay.
And I wanted to end on the positives because I want to end on a positive note. Because I love this park and I love it so much and I want everybody to feel the same love.
Yeah.
So some of the positives were about Pandora. So people were saying that Pandora is so well themed and that the mountains, the floating mountains are so realistic and the waterfalls look like they're really coming from these mountains. And they were saying that Flight of Passage, despite its 3-hour wait, that it was totally worth it because it's the best theme park ride they've ever been on in their lives. And we haven't rode any of the rides in Pandora.
Not yet.
However, we have seen the theming and it's pretty spectacular.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, you can't ride rides without me. Are you going there tomorrow?
Oh, I'm not going to Animal Kingdom. I'm going to Epcot.
I was gonna say, because that wouldn't be cool.
No. Well, I'm a cool gal. I'm just kidding. I'm not. Yeah, so I mean, Pandora, I totally agree about it being just a wonderful, wonderful addition to this park. And another thing that they were positively saying about Pandora was that the the addition of it makes it feel like more of a full day park, and not in 1998 when it was just like a half day park.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And another thing to go along with that is the theming. So not just the theming in Pandora, but the theming in Harambe in Africa, the theming by Everest in Asia. And I mean, I've talked to you about how detailed these lands are in Animal Kingdom.
Yes.
And so, have I talked to you about the theming of Harambe yet?
I'm pretty sure we went over that at some point.
Oh, okay. So I'm just saying, like, the detail that Disney puts in is so evident, and I feel like people, even if you're not a Disney regular, even if you just go once in your lifetime, you don't need to have that three trip qualifier to write this review. I feel like you can notice and pick up on that it really feels super immersive.
Yeah.
No matter what area of Animal Kingdom you're in. Even Dino Land USA, for crying out loud. I mean, Dino Land USA is a theming wonder.
Yes.
And I feel like people just need to understand that.
Yes, they do. But what about like on the reviews though?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What about like
We're getting off
specific things that were like people pointed out that they loved about? Is that what we're gonna go over in terms of positive reviews?
Well, I thought I just went over that.
Yeah, but is there like what specifically? But was there any specifics other than theming?
So specifics are that when you're in Africa, you feel like you're in Africa, and they made this distinction, whereas in Magic Kingdom, the theming is not as detailed as what you would find in Animal Kingdom.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can see that.
So you don't feel like you're in the land of tomorrow, in Tomorrowland.
Yeah, okay.
So, anyways. And another thing that people really love about Animal Kingdom is that it's great for all ages. Because you have the animal component, because, you have thrill rides for teenagers. One of the reviews said that because even though they had to wait the 3 hours or whatever in line for Flight of Passage, it's the only reason why their teenager had a good time at this park.
Because of that ride?
Because of that ride.
Okay.
And I mean, you figure you have the safari, something for everyone, Everest, and then the shows that you can see with Finding Nemo and Festival of the Lion King. I mean, all of these different things, I can definitely see why specifically Animal Kingdom is a place for all generations.
Yeah.
And that was a common theme throughout the positive reviews, was that it is a multi-generational wonder.
Yeah, that's legit.
Yeah.
It's a solid positive.
Yeah. That's good. But that's actually my final positive. I wanted to end on that.
Okay.
And what would you put in your review about the positives?
Well, I definitely mentioned the tea.
The tea at Tiffin's.
And the parrot thing. I mean, the things that I talked about why I like the park on the last episode.
Oh, because that's where you would
Tiffin's,
spend your Richie's Day at Disney?
The Tiffin's, the bird
Macaw.
shows, and trying to catch the kangaroo with the Tree of Life. That's dope.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many positives about this park. I don't even know where it would fall in my top 4 listing of Disney parks. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there are so many positives. All the positives I agree with. The negatives, okay, it's crowded, it's hot.
Yeah.
I had to wait in line. I get it. It's expensive. Fine. But I feel like all the positives that you have overcome that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I got.
One more thing.
Yes.
Rocking Minnie.
Hashtag rocking Minnie.
Yeah, it's much better. Okay.
We'll submit it for review. But anyways, I that's all I got.
Okay. All right. Well, for anyone that's tuning in right now, we'd really appreciate any subscriptions, any likes, any comments. Let us know what you think about the podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Medium. We're now on Anchor. We have the wonderful briefings and the shorts on Anchor. You go to www.anchor.fm on your favorite web browser. Or you can go to the App Store and download the app, and you can hear every day, all of her cool productions.
On the Walt Daily.
On the Walt Daily.
Yeah.
And also, if you have an Alexa, definitely add the flash briefing. to your morning or evening or mid-morning routine, because those things are amazing.
Or late night.
Or late night, whatever.
Yeah. And as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We so very much appreciate it. We hope this brought a little bit of magic to your day, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.